I expect that my gold jacket will be in the mail soon, I think, for being a 4-time member. Is that how that works?
You're pretty much in the Hall of Fame. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Basic AF. Tom Anderson and Jeff Battersby. Hello,
Tom
Jeff.
Anderson. How are you, bud?
Doing all right. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing all right. I'm, among the living. We had a little snow in New York, so.
Did you get a little of that?
I did. It was kind of delightful. It's almost all gone now, but yeah, it was great. Nice to get snow. I like snow.
Nice. Yeah, me too. We didn't get that. We had some rain and windy, but it's a little early for us for snow.
Yeah, the wind was wild.
Yeah.
We were having trees down, I think, and power outages and all that jazz.
Oh, that's always good.
Not in my neck of the woods, but yeah.
So we are in Thanksgiving week here in the U.S., so happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Is coming up on Thursday. Like most,
Black Friday on Friday.
Yeah, I'm not buying anything.
No?
No, I buy all year. I take Black Friday off. Can't afford anything by Black Friday. Budget spent. And
fair.
Jeff,
That's
we
fair.
have a guest with us again.
What? Who?
Yes, we do. Welcome back to the show. It's got to be your 4th or 5th appearance, I think it is. Hello, Gannon Nordberg. Welcome back.
Hey, fellas. Thanks to have me. It's great to be back. I expect that my gold jacket will be in the mail soon, I think, for being a 4-time member. Is that how that works?
You're pretty much in the Hall of Fame.
Sweet. All right.
The Basic AF Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and I'm actually here for you to be on the show, which is
Even better.
atypical. Usually it's Gannon and Tom while I'm out,
Getting robbed.
fixing car windows and getting new equipment.
Yeah. So, real quick, this is Basic AF episode 49. Show notes can be found at basicafshow.com/49. Jeff, you want to roll the early credits for the artwork and everything real quick?
Yeah. So reminder, feedback at basicafshow.com. We're happy to catch your emails, which we have gotten some, which we will get to answering those questions at some point in the future. We've got show music, as always, Psychokinetics, Celsius 7. Highly recommend you check that out, or him out. And then we've got Randall Martin Design for our show art, who we really appreciate and who does great work. So highly recommend that you find Randall, randallmartindesign.com.
All right. Thanks, sir. And thank them for their support with the artwork and the show music.
Yes.
So what we've got planned for you today, we're going to do a bit of a news roundup. There's some stuff worthy of discussion on this fine podcast. And then we're also going to talk, we mentioned there a couple of minutes ago, it's Thanksgiving week. It's glorious travel season. And so we thought we would talk a little bit about tips on how to take away some of the stress around that travel, especially when it comes to your tech devices and gear that you want to take. The more people you have to account for when you're traveling, the more frustrating that can get. So if you've got a family you're toting along, especially kids and everything, please listen to this because you want to make sure you keep those devices charged to keep the kids happy. All right. So that'll be coming up. That's kind of going to be in the second half of the show. Right?
Fair.
Jeff? Okay.
Indeed, Tom. No
Caught you
arguments.
off guard there.
Right. I'm all good.
Good.
We're in a happy place. Well,
Okay.
you
So
might be.
kind of the first topic of the news roundup. So as everyone is well aware at this point, we're in the Apple Intelligence era. At least some of us, some of you, depending on which devices you have. If you got some of the newer devices, you are in the club, so to speak. We had the initial releases, feature releases in the .1 updates for iOS 18, macOS Sequoia, and iPad OS. And a new round of features coming up in 18.2, including Image Playground, which I got access to. I know, Jeff, you've got access to that too. Gannon, do you have that?
No, I've not jumped on any of the beta trains yet. I know I just feel better on the stable versions, but
Coward.
From what I know exactly, from what I've seen, it's interesting. So I am excited to check it out.
Yeah,
It's goofy fun for sure.
it is. Yeah, it's been kind of fun messing with that. We'll see how practical it remains once the novelty wears off. But
it's pretty much worn off for me already.
Yeah. But to be honest, I have it on my iPad, and so I don't really have much practical use for it at this point. But anywho, one of the, of course, kind of key features Apple showed at WWDC this past summer for Apple Intelligence is the revamped Siri, which has picked up a couple of little things so far. Like it's picked up some contextual awareness in the .2 updates that are coming out. It also goes off on your phone when you're recording a podcast when you say it. But in the .2 updates, they've added the ChatGPT integration. So if you want to bring ChatGPT in to kind of extend some of the things that Siri can do, which I've turned that on, and you can sign in with your account. So if you have an account, you can link your account to it as well. So I went ahead and did that. I have not used it a ton, partially because I just don't think to use Siri in that manner. So I think there's some adjustment there that's going to have to take place. But anyhow, one of the news items this week, Mark Gurman, who, as he is apt to do, has these things, Apple readies more conversational LLM Siri in bid to rival OpenAI's ChatGPT. So kind of one of the big things supposed to be coming next year is the personal context for Siri, or he, whichever voice. They're not even given genders anymore, they're numbers. So whichever number Siri that you want to use will have personal context, so know more about the information on your phone and your things, but still not conversational in the sense that ChatGPT's voice mode is.
Yes.
All right.
You have anything further to? You know me, Tom. I'm not going to be the ChatGPT talking guy. I will say that using Siri now in one of the beta versions, I am getting prompted to use ChatGPT to further requests. But you know me, I'm an AI-less. I don't know. Feels like you're being godless now if you're AI-less, but. I don't believe in AI. Does that make sense? No, I'm insane, but that's okay.
Yeah. So anyway, Gannon.
Let's talk to somebody who cares. Yeah, right. There you go. Gannon's in.
You have tested the voice mode on ChatGPT a little bit, right?
Yeah, and so I use the standard ChatGPT a fair amount just for, research and ideating and brainstorming and kind of kickstarting ideas of various things. And so when I saw they had the voice mode, I was excited to just check it out. I like kind of kicking the tires with some of this stuff, so I was anxious to check it out. So like Siri and the other voice assistants, I did find that it takes a little bit, for me at least, to kind of pre-plan what you're going to ask and what specific guidance you're looking for before you start it. Otherwise, I found myself kind of like thinking on the fly while I'm anxiously, staring at this blinking microphone, like, okay, what do I actually want to say? And whereas if you're writing it out, you don't have that quote unquote pressure. But the back and forth conversation that I had was pretty seamless. It actually felt like I was talking to another pretty, sentient being, so to speak. It was impressive.
So all the feelings of a great first date, right?
Absolutely.
Those nerves, the butterflies in your belly, and
That's right.
At the end, a decent conversation.
Well, one of the things I liked the most about it was it offers, 10 or so different voice options. Each of them have their own style, a kind of a voice style and a personality. And so I kind of had fun flipping through each of those, and it'll give you like a sample recording, like, hi, my name is so-and-so. And it'll kind of like give you a sentence about how it responds to messages and things. And so the option that I landed on was Sol, S-O-L, which is described as savvy and relaxed. I'm like, ooh, we could be BFFs. That sounds great.
Yeah, that's who I ended up with too.
Okay, cool.
Or I should say the one I ended up with, who sounds a little strange.
Right.
But,
That
not that the
really,
one, you are the one soul.
The one.
Right.
Jeff is soulless, but you are the soul.
The one.
Yeah. So in the article, Let me pull that up for you guys here real quick. But Mark Gurman mentions in his article there that this is going to be not even in 2025. So this is going to be a 2026 spring. Okay. So we're looking
a
at
lifeline away.
It sure does. And the the personal context thing is supposed to come in early 25. The conversational piece in 26, if this is an accurate story, who knows? And it'll be interesting when it comes out. So one of the things that I've liked with the voice mode with ChatGPT, okay, and I think on the free version you get 15 minutes, and then the paid version, it's however much you want to use, I suppose. But one of the things that I like with it is you can do the voice discussion, and then if you come back to it later, it's all transcribed in ChatGPT. So you can come back, you can search for it, and it all gets added into your memory there, right? So as you're using ChatGPT, whether it's through voice mode or through just the normal back and forth, or maybe you're using the new Canvas feature that they have, which I've just started to use, which is in beta, which is interesting because it is almost a bit Grammarly-like, where it's basically a document that you're working on in ChatGPT, whereas in the normal mode, it's just text. So you type your thing in, your prompt, hit enter, the text comes back up or comes from, ChatGPT, and then you can ask it to update, some things. Maybe you've got a list and you say, well, I don't like number 1, I like number 3, but add these 2 things, and it'll spit some more text out on the screen. With the Canvas mode, you get a document. And so it's almost like a Google Doc of sorts. So you can actually have it generate something. You can type in there, take stuff out that you want to yourself. You can have it do it. And then afterwards, it goes right back to the other mode. So it's like a clip of text that you can export out if you want to dump it into your your text editor or something and work on a little more. But with that voice mode, I think having the ability to go back to it and seeing it in text is a plus. And I'm kind of curious what Apple might do with that when the time comes. Like with Siri, if Siri becomes this thing that's very similar where you're able to say, hey, blah, 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 because I don't want my phone to go off again. But if you say that and it's like, hey, I'm working on, my MacBook doesn't boot up, it hangs at the progress bar, what should I try? And it's like, well, where does that go when the discussion is over? Does it go somewhere so you can pull it up later? And so I don't know. Obviously, it's a long ways away, but they're testing it as a separate app at this point, and then will eventually be integrated in.
So let me ask you a question. I am interested from a curiosity perspective. As you know, I'm not really using, although I have used occasionally just to play with it, Claude. So I like that interface. I like how it works. But it's basic text entry, ask a question, get a response back, and so on and so forth. How is this working conversationally for you? Does it feel natural? Is it something that feels like you're actually having a conversation with another person in the room, or is it mechanical? And the thing that kind of, I'll confess, drives me a little nuts about all these AI voices is they're extraordinarily cheery. Yes, we'd really like to help you. That kind of a feel. I want to know if it feels, how natural it feels.
So it definitely has it's still that, like, they're very happy. Which, I don't know, anybody wants to go here, Debbie Downer on ChatGPT. So yeah, there's definitely some of that.
Debbie.
Right.
Debbie, great.
Yeah.
All the Debbies in the world just decided to scratch Gannon's eyes out.
But and Gannon alluded to it there a few minutes ago, like the first time, and even the first couple of times probably, because it's just a different interaction than I'm used to. And so you hit and you're like, oh yeah, you do kind of hesitate a little bit. And I think once it gets started, it's not too bad. And I was telling you guys before the show, I plugged the phone in to the Rodecaster here, and I was going to try and do it. I mean, we can try it. We can hold it up to the phone if you want to hear it.
Let's see how it works.
So let's go through that scenario we were just talking about with the MacBook, right? So the MacBook's not booting. And let's see what old ChatGPT comes up with here. 1 second. So my MacBook isn't starting up. I'm having problems. It just kind of hangs at the progress bar. What do you think I should try?
The infamous progress bar hang. First, try a safe boot. Restart your Mac and immediately hold down the Shift key until the Apple logo appears. This runs a basic check and only loads essential software. If that doesn't work, boot into recovery mode by restarting and holding Command+R. From there, you can use Disk Utility to repair your disk.
Do you think I should take it to the Apple Store?
If those steps don't resolve it, visiting the Apple Store might be your best bet. They can run more advanced diagnostics. Plus, if it's a hardware issue, they'll be able to address it.
Oh, the reboot worked.
Awesome. Glad to hear it did the trick.
So, yeah.
All right.
Wow,
Super
that's cool.
cheery. A little bit of misinformation there. Yes, Shift key on older Macs. You have to hold down the power button on all the newer Macs. And then load the because of some hardware changes that are like in
the Apple Silicon stuff.
Yeah. So that's interesting. I mean, it's definitely has the basics of it down. Even though the next question would be, well, what kind of Mac do you have?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have an M1 chip? Do you have an M2 chip? But yeah, very cheery. No, you're having problems. Let me see what I can do to take care of that for you.
Yeah, she could work at an Apple Store.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly right. But that is the quality of that conversation is good. Have you ever tried it with anything like personal questions? I mean, you don't need to do this live,
No,
Tom. I know.
One thing that I was surprised by how quickly the voice came back. I was almost expecting a little bit of a delay after I finished talking and then it coming back, but it was very quick. So I was kind of like, oh, geez, this is like I need to get ready for my next thought or my next, request.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm impressed by that too. That was really quick, which says to me that there's some onboard processing going on. It's not headed out to servers and then coming back with an answer. So impressive.
It's obviously it's leaps and bounds ahead of where Siri's at today. No question about that.
Okay, and that's a very low bar, by the way.
And I can't remember if I told both of you or if I just mentioned it to Gannon the other day, but I would like to have a button in CarPlay for that.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
It's not there yet, and you can do it. You can start it on your phone and do it over Bluetooth, of course, in the car if you wanted to. But I think the button in CarPlay would be nice because a lot of times you're driving to work, stuck at a traffic light, and start thinking about something. And I would really like to just kind of talk it through a little bit.
You get lonely? Is that what you're saying?
Jeff doesn't call me during the week. He just sends me text messages, and I can't
right.
text to drive. I use Siri, but that usually
that works not so well.
Right. Yeah.
Well, isn't that was one of the things that you put in the show notes is that ChatGPT needs a CarPlay app, and who knows if that's coming or not, and
right.
whether or not Apple's going to allow such a thing. It's surprising to me, by the way, how few apps have CarPlay interfaces that I'd like to have CarPlay interfaces. It's mostly audio and navigation
and Chick-fil-A.
And Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A has.
It does.
For what possible purpose? To find your next Chick-fil-A?
Yeah, and I think you might be able to order. I'm not sure. I saw it on there once, and I was like, whoa. And I tapped on it, but I didn't do anything with it. All right, so moving on. I think, but yeah. Hey, if the rumors were there a couple of years ago that Apple was 2 years behind with all this stuff. I think that is looking at where we are. I think that was probably true. I know they're working to catch up. Now, they are doing some things differently than other people with the private cloud compute and all that, which I think is great because for the privacy perspective and everything. So behind in some ways, ahead in others, I think. But on the feature side of things, probably still playing a lot of catch up.
And we'll just say, or I'll just say, in put my Apple tinfoil hat on for a second, and Apple has a tendency to take something and iterate in a way that's better than most of what is around. BlackBerry to iPhone being the initial big jump. So hopefully when they do this, whatever and however they iterate, it will be something that is a step above what is currently available. And yeah, I'm all down for the privacy. That's one of the reasons that I'm reticent to use any of these things, because it's, I don't know. I feel like it's data collection with a happy voice.
Yeah.
I'm not cynical, right? Not at all.
And by the way, the web search that they added to ChatGPT is very good.
Is it?
Yeah. I don't know, Gannon, if you've used that or not.
Not much, actually, no.
Yeah, so they added there's like a globe icon you can click in the text box, and then anything that you search on is basically an internet search, but it comes back, gives you the text, but it sources everything. So kind of like Perplexity does. But yeah, it's been very good, and it was handy. So that's good. So anyway, we'll have more to say about Apple Intelligence, I'm sure, as the new things come out over the next months and years. Yeah, Jeff, Gannon, we had a couple software updates lately.
Yeah, we did. But those are behind me. I'm on the next betas. Yeah, everything's got a beta man. Beta man. Right.
Betamax. Yeah, so go ahead.
No. All that to say that I am not on any of the current iterations of the OSs. So I'm on the future iterations of the OSs.
I thought I was fully up to date the other day, and then I was reading through the news and saw 18.1.1 was out, and I'm like, oh, I'm sure I've got that. And I went into settings and into software update, and I'm like, oh shoot, there it is. Like, I don't have it. So I was quickly jumping on that, because it sounds like that was one that is a real important one that fixes some vulnerabilities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, apparently a couple of 0 days. I think we're in that. So that 18.1 is out. There was a Safari update standalone from that so if you're using the newer Safari on older versions of the operating system. Of course, Mac OS got an update. Vision OS got an update. Pretty much everything got an update, I think. And along those lines with updates, Apple is ending iCloud backup support for older devices. These are really old. I was looking at that list and I was like, oh, that's really, really old. So as of December 18th, all devices must be running at least iOS 9. Now we're on 18.
Right.
So
10-year-old devices, basically.
Right. Which honestly, I think Apple should get a little credit for that they're even going that far back. I mean, think about that. iOS 9, we're on 18. And so that's, if, dear listener, you have an old device, maybe it's something that you're, I don't know, kids using. I don't know why you would back that up, but just be aware of that. We'll put a link in the show notes out to that.
Yeah. Cool. Okay.
So get your updates if you're on those old versions.
Which you should always be doing on every device, by the way. You should always be checking for those updates to see what's up.
Yep.
All right. You know what? I think it's time to jump into the main portion of our show, Tom.
I agree.
So, Gannon, you have been doing a lot of work on Threads and a couple of websites. And in particular, you've, it looks like, started a new website that is really almost all travel related.
So I'm very tuned into all things kind of travel gear and mobile gear and desk gear. I like gear. What can I say? And so I created a free 5-day crash course that's to help you build a perfect travel tech kit. You know, the holidays are coming up, summer vacations are behind us, but spring break's not too far off. And a lot of times if you're traveling with kids, they have devices and they need things charged and they need cables and they need bags and pouches and batteries and all that fun stuff. And so this crash course that I built is just a way for you to know what to pack, avoid some of the mistakes. Don't forget any of the essential pieces, and that'll keep everybody kind of entertained, whether it's, on a plane or in a long car ride, and just make for a more pleasant experience. And so in the course, you get 5 emails, there's 4,500 words, and I have a list of over 35 different tech products that you can explore to just enhance your family's travel experience. And that's at buildafamilytraveltechkit.com. But what I really want to talk about today was my recent trip.
Sure.
So I live on the East Coast. My brother and his wife live in Australia, and my wife and I took a trip there. We've not been that far from home before. We left the kids with the grandparents, and it was a terrific time. I love Australia. I would love to visit again soon, but I wanted to talk about what are some of the things that I brought with me. Of course, as you can imagine, it was a very long plane ride. They are 16 hours ahead of the East Coast in the US, so quite a time difference as well. And long flights, all that good stuff. So if it's all right, I wanted to just share what I've got in my travel bag and talk about what's there and maybe give some inspiration to the folks that are listening.
Yeah, what's there and why?
What
it is about it that does it. All right.
So the thing that starts it all out is I have a little zippered pouch, and this is where I just put all my stuff. So if you're not seeing anything on the screen, if you're just listening to audio, this is about the size of maybe an iPad mini or so. We'll see if we can do some sound effects. There's the zipper, and
ASMR version.
Well, we're trying to enhance it here. I got to bring my A game for you guys. This is the Eagle Creek Packet Gear Pouch. It's around $17 or so as of this recording. They come in various sizes, but this is the small one, and I found that it fits everything that I need to into my kit.
Awesome. So what kind of stuff do you put in that little...
All right, so the first thing that powers everything is this little Anker Nano 3 47-watt charger. It has a little foldable plug on the end, which is nice and handy to kind of keep those plugs out of the way. It has 2 USB-C ports, so one charges at 27 watts, the other charges at 20 watts, or you can charge a single device at 47 watts. But it's a nice, small, compact little charger that has lots of power with it, and I'm sure they're on sale all over the place for Black Friday.
Yeah, I have one of those.
And by the way, Anker's
great.
And I was going to say Anker's stuff is top notch.
I agree.
One of my favorite companies to get that kind of gear from.
Yeah,
really solid, well designed, and some of that was stolen. My stuff got ripped off. So anyway.
No, it's fine.
Enough about me. Back on. What else goes in that bag?
The next thing of mine is a product that Apple doesn't make anymore. This is the Apple MagSafe Duo wireless charger. So this is a little foldable charger. It's got a kind of a MagSafe puck on one side, and then it has a little flip-up charger for your watch on the other. I love this thing. I know Apple doesn't make it anymore. I bought it on Amazon, a year ago or something like that. It still works great. It does require a lightning port, which is a little annoying since everything is USB-C these days, it seems. And then you just need a 20-watt power adapter. So our little Anker one that I've got with me works perfectly fine.
That, by the way, it's unfortunate that Apple doesn't sell that. That is on my desk presently for charging my phone and my watch, and then easily slips into a pouch such as the one that you have. So that's a great little piece if you can find it.
I wonder if they'll bring something back, maybe a different iteration of that thing.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. Did it fast charge the watch?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I don't know either whether or not it fast charges.
So if they had USB-C and fast charge capabilities,
that would be nice.
Charge you $40 more.
I think I bought it for $130 or something like that. I mean, it wasn't cheap, but at the time it was the only thing out there. And now, I don't know if you've seen this, but the company 12 South has a Butterfly 2-in-1 Qi 2 charger that's very similar, where it's like a little foldable hockey puck kind of thing that you can charge 2 devices there. So if you're looking for something like it and can't get your hands on an old one from Apple, check out the one from 12 South. That'll be next on my list once this one kind of kicks the bucket.
And we'll try to add that to the show notes so you can see where that device is.
Yeah, I think that's it there, right?
Yeah. So look at that. I mean, it looks very small and compact. It'll charge a couple devices, and because it's got the Qi 2 support, it should charge things faster too.
Quickly. Great.
Yeah, nice.
Cool. So the next one is a little battery pack. So I'm just going to read the Amazon name of this because I think it's hilarious, and you'll just indulge me for a minute. So this is the VEEKTOMX Mini Power Bank 10,000 milliamp hour, 22.5 watt fast charging small portable charger with power delivery 3.0 and QC 3.0. USB-C slim lightweight iPhone charger, dual output compatible with iPhone, Samsung travel must-haves.
Wow, that's loaded up for SEO.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Holy cow, that's the title.
That is the name of the item on Amazon. So this is not a brand that I've purchased things from before, but it's a small little battery pack. It's lightweight. It's thinner than a deck of cards, but maybe close to that in size. You can charge a device at 22.5 watts. This will charge a battery 2 times, or an iPhone 2 times, which is nice. It has a little LED display on it that will show the battery charge level, which is handy. If you reach in your bag and plug something into it, you can know like, oh, it's at 14%. Maybe I need to charge the battery next time. You can charge 2 devices at once. So it has a 20 watt USB-C port, a 22.5 watt USB-A port, and an 18 watt micro USB port. And they've got a couple of different color options. So just having a few different ports on the end is pretty handy for all the various devices that you might be traveling with, whether it's headphones or tablets or Kindles and that kind of stuff.
No, that's great.
How long does it take to recharge that?
I haven't timed it, but maybe, an hour or two. Of course, it probably depends on what you're plugging it into. If it's a high-powered charger or using a quick charge cable. If you charge it through USB-C, I think it charges faster.
Yeah, that's something I don't have in my arsenal yet, is a battery pack like that to top things off while you're out. Jeff, you have anything like that?
Nope. My car has wireless charging, so that's typically how I'm charging stuff. Although it's not fast charging, it doesn't.
Right.
If you're putting a lot of pressure on it, like streaming audio and using maps or something like that, it basically maintains whatever
will hold it steady,
whatever you had, but it's not. Yeah, it's not charging it to the full.
I use this a bunch in the airport. I mean, airports are funny because you can always tell where the outlets are in the kind of the gates, because everybody kind of hoards around an outlet and they're like tethered with their little 3-foot lightning cable or whatever. And so this is nice to not have to be married to an outlet. You can still charge up your device while you're waiting for your flight to board, and still have plenty of juice for on the flight if you need it.
Yeah, and that's good. And if you're on a long car trip, road trip, and you don't have but so many outlets in the car that you can plug into.
Yeah,
that'd be handy. Or like Jeff mentioned, you got a charger, but it's not robust like some of the wireless stuff is. Usually if you plug in the car, you're okay. But you may run out. So if you got to top off the kid's iPad or something, definitely good to have.
The other thing that I kind of want, but I don't really have a strong need for, is like a MagSafe battery pack that'll clip onto the back of your phone. I know Apple used to have one of those. I've actually got one here that still works fine, but this is, older. The battery's showing some wear and tear. It still charges through Lightning. But Anker, again, our buddies Anker, they make a MagGo power bank. It's a 10,000 milliamp hour battery. It's also Qi 2 certified. It'll wirelessly charge at 15 watts, which is part of the new Qi 2 spec as I come to know it. And then if you want to plug it in directly with a USB-C cable, it'll charge at 30 watts. So that's one that I'm curious about, and we'll make sure we have a link in the show notes if you're looking for something like that, if you don't want to necessarily tether a cord to a battery.
Yep. Nice.
Like that.
All right. So even though I have this, fancy travel charger that collapses, I do still keep a couple of cables with me just in the event that something fails. I'm of the mind that having backups and redundancies is important. And I'm sure if you're listening to the show, you'll probably feel the same way. So the next item in my bag is an Apple Watch magnetic fast charging USB-C cable. Have you guys, do you realize how beautiful these cables are? They're super durable. They're woven. They're not even like they're just like luscious cables. I don't know how to describe it, but I'm a huge fan of Apple's cables, and I've got one of the USB-C cables too of kind of the same material.
Yeah, those new ones are pretty amazing. You know, I saw some article the other day that was kind of looking down at the old ones, which got filthy and cracked. These are really quite amazing. So,
and they fold up so nicely, you know, like they're not the rubber coated kind of silicone material that we're used to in years past. They're really, really nice cables. So, you know,
you know, what's funny about that is originally those cables, even with the rubber exterior, they used to fold up really nicely too. And then somewhere along the way, Apple changed that up, and those things just were not like they were funky, and they just didn't want to do that. But yeah, the newer ones are really nice. I bought the new MagSafe charger. Came out for when the 16 lineup came out.
Oh, cool!
Because it does the fast charging. One notable thing with that is the puck itself is just a smidge thinner than the previous one.
Okay.
Doesn't matter if it's on your desk, but if you've got something that you put that puck into, like some people do, like they've got the little stands or whatever that they put them in. And I saw some people saying that it didn't quite fit flush as the other one did, and they had to kind of work with it a little bit. But it's been good. I mean, I love the wireless charging stuff, just for the convenience, just popping it down. And obviously, it's super easy to plug a cable into if you need to do that, so it's not a life-changing thing. But I do like it.
That's cool.
Gannon, I noticed when you showed us those cables, which again, not everybody's going to be able to see this, but you've got some pretty slick ties there. What are those?
I'm glad you asked, Jeff. Thank you so much. This is the Cable Matters silicone magnetic cable tie. So the two ends are actually magnetic. And so after you wrap it up, you just kind of click these two ends together, and it kind of stays tight. But this is a stretchy cable, so you can really, you know, wrap it around as many times as you need to, depending on the size of the cable. And I got these not too long ago, and now I've got them all over the place. My kids like to just play with them. They're great for the whole family.
Well, I've been for years, you know, I used and still do Velcro cables, you know, Velcro cable ties, and they're kind of a hassle. I mean, they do work, but they're kind of imperfect. I really like those. Those are pretty slick. Which, by the way, at this very moment in time, I don't know if you guys have ever seen that NPR sketch, the public radio sketch, where Molly Shannon and I can't remember who else were having a conversation. I just felt like I sounded like that. Those are really nice. You can use
you
those
just
to
did the
wrap up your
NPR
cables.
voice too.
Yeah, see, I changed it up. That's what I was feeling like, though.
This is NPR.
Anyway, I really like those.
Yep, check them
Those
out. We'll have a link in the
cable
show notes for everybody.
Awesome, thanks.
So the next thing is this is from a brand called Spigen. This is a 3-in-1 universal charger cable. Again, this is probably overkill, but you know, if you're traveling with a family, you don't know, have an inventory of what kind of devices everyone's traveling with. So this is a single USB-C cable, USB cable. This is USB-A, boo. But on the other end, it has micro USB, USB-C, and Lightning. And so it has a little cap that you kind of just fit over top of it. And then you can plug your device plug the cable into any device. It is a nice nylon braided cable. They come in a bunch of different colors. And it's just nice to have kind of like a single catch-all if, you know, one of the kids drop their, you know, lightning cable at the rest stop, or, you know, something like that. A cable stopped working, one of the pins gets damaged on the lightning cable, whatever. And so just having kind of an extra that can accommodate multiple needs has been useful for me.
Yeah, it's great. I like that.
Next, all right, so this is the Studio Neat Glyph. This is It attaches to a tripod, so this is kind of a combo pick. My other pick is the Ulanzi mini tripod stand. This is just a mini little tripod. I think this is a 1/4-inch mount on it, which is pretty standard. I hope they have the dimensions right there. But the Glyph is something that you can attach either vertically or horizontally to kind of put your iPhone into. And so when I was in Australia, we were at different parks and things, and I've never been a fan of handing my phone to someone and saying, here, can you take our picture? Call me paranoid, but I'm like, I know people do that all the time. It's probably not a big deal, but I like to have a little more control over something like that. So I would prop this tripod up on a bench or on the sidewalk, put the glyph mount on top of it, and then put my phone inside of it. And then you could do the little timer from the phone itself, or if you have an Apple Watch, I really like the the remote camera capture. I forget what they call it. Right. But that worked really well. And they're small and light enough. They're not metal, but they are sturdy materials. And so they're just big enough to put in my bag for those moments where you want to, capture a photo with everybody in it. You could even use it as kind of like a pseudo selfie stick.
And I'm looking at the actual phone holder, the piece of that, and it doesn't look like it's spring-loaded. It looks like it's got...
So it has a little plastic clip on it that's actually pretty sturdy, but once you unhinge it, then you can adjust based on what size phone you have.
So one of the things I run into, even, I have a light ring here, and that light ring has one of the spring-loaded ones, and those things are such a pain in the neck to get to work. Right. And oftentimes what I find is I end up taking a screenshot with them or something because you've got it, they're not easy to manage to get your phones in. So I really like the fact that it's got a lock on it and you basically can pull it out without any spring tension and then tighten it. Pretty slick.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's been around forever, right? The glyph, that's been out for years and years,
a long time. So this is from Studio Neat. They make all kinds of really interesting but very specific products. They've got a strong reputation of quality products, and that's one that's been in my bag for a long time.
I think they also make a cocktail app called Highball.
That's right.
That I use while bartending.
There you go.
So it's a great little app as well. And that hasn't been updated in a while, but they are kind of one off. You kind of have to be in love with what it is that they're making. Some wooden iPhone holders and things like that. But really, really, as you said, high quality. And I didn't realize that they made that. That's a nice piece of equipment.
And then I don't go anywhere without my trusty AirPods Pro 2. I've got these in my ears all the time during the day when I'm not traveling, but airplanes are incredibly noisy, just the kind of the ambient noise in an airplane, and having something in your ears to block out that kind of noise. And now that you can turn on the noise canceling and listen to something more pleasant than the cabin noise, they're always with me.
Travel necessity.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Now I do have 3. That's it for my travel tech kit, but I have 3 apps that I used a bunch for travel. Is it all right if I share those too?
Absolutely. Please do.
So one of them is an app called Time Shifter. So this is an app that will help you kind of combat the effects of jet lag by suggesting when to get more sunlight, when to take a nap, when to get some sleep, to just help you adjust with a big time zone change, and it does that by suggesting, habits and things to do a few days leading up to a trip, but also a few days after a trip. Now, if you're just going from, East Coast to West Coast, maybe you don't need something like this. But, like I said, Australia is 16 hours ahead of the East Coast. So I knew it was going to be pretty drastic. And this app was helpful because it'll, at certain points, it'll say, oh, try to take a 2-hour nap, or make sure you get plenty of sunlight and don't wear sunglasses for the next 3 hours, or something like that. And whether it was coincidence or not, the jet lag that I experienced was so much less than I was expecting, especially for that big of a jump, that I got to think this app had something to do with it.
Okay. Next app.
The next one is an app called Endel, Endel. So this is an app that creates kind of personalized soundscapes to help you either focus or relax, or you can even use it to help you sleep. But it uses real-time inputs like your location and the weather outside. And if you have an Apple Watch, it'll integrate your heart rate to just generate these adaptive sounds that are tailored to your current activity and your mood. I find myself, I'm a bit of an anxious traveler. And so, while on the plane, I'll put in my AirPods Pro 2, and then just put on kind of the relax mode. And it's just something that's going to help chill me out a little bit. And, distract me from, something that could otherwise be anxiety inducing. So I use it throughout the day when I'm working just as kind of focus music, but it also helps with travel.
Awesome. I like that.
Last but not least, is the iOS game Alto's Odyssey. Have you guys ever played that or heard of it?
Mm-hmm. I have.
So I'm not a big game player, especially on iOS. But for some reason, every time I got on an airplane during takeoff and just like as we climb to the elevation that the plane's going to be traveling to, I just love playing Alto's Odyssey. So this is an endless runner style game where you're a sandboarder across kind of an adventure in the desert, and you're jumping over dunes and canyons and different obstacles. The soundtrack is terrific. So again, if you've got noise canceling headphones, you could just get sucked into the soundtrack there. It's very kind of chill vibes and worth checking out. I think it's also on Apple Arcade if you're an Apple Arcade subscriber.
Yeah,
Nice.
I think it is. You're right.
Yeah, good.
Awesome. All right, I have one last question for you.
Please.
I have one final as it relates to travel gear. So you've got, all those little things. What kind of backpack or other bag are you putting that in? What's your go-to bag for travel?
So I've got the Tom Bin Synapse 25, which I am in love with. I've had it for probably 8 or 9 or almost 10 years at this point. I think Tom's got a similar bag, or at least he did.
Yep, same one.
And just love it. So this little pouch fits inside one of the kind of front-facing pockets for me, and it's easy to reach in and grab it and pull it out through security checks and that kind of thing. But Tom Bin, we'll have a link in the show notes for that too.
Awesome. We'll get it. Man, thank you. And just in time for Thanksgiving travel, you'll get this on Monday, and you'll have time to order it from whatever place and perhaps get it before you hop in the car on Wednesday to
there you go.
Visit grandma or whatever it is that you do. Really appreciate you spending the time with us.
It's a pleasure. I appreciate you guys. I listen to you every week and was just excited at the chance to jump on board and chat some more.
And why don't you remind us of all your outlets, because you have a few.
Oh, sure. So on social media, I'm most active on Threads and LinkedIn. I'm at Gannon Nordberg. And if you want the free 5-day crash course to kind of help you build the perfect travel tech kit, so you know exactly what to pack and stay stress-free, that is at buildafamilytraveltechkit.com.
Very cool.
Excellent.
All right.
Yeah, go sign up for that. I did that when he first released it, and a lot of good information in there. And especially, I think the thing to not overlook is the planning piece of that. Like, kind of have an idea of who's going with you, where you're going, how long you're going to be going, what chargers you need. And a lot of it will just depend on who you're traveling with. Mm-hmm. Right. So if you've got kids and, Nintendo Switches and iPads and phones and laptops, and it's out of control, really. Mm-hmm. the stuff we drag around with us, but that's what we do. So yeah, go sign up for that. And Gannon, as always, it's a pleasure having you on with us. We do really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, thank you. We're having fun. We really are.
We are. It's been a lot of fun. Episode 49, the big 5-0 coming up. A couple weeks.
Yeah. We're finally hitting middle age. So once again, Basic AF Show, feedback at basicafshow.com. And we're really pleased that you've determined to burn another 45 or so minutes with us. Always better when we have a guest.
It is.
Nobody wants to hear Tom and me every day. So feedback at basicafshow.com. Remember to like us, share us, let people know about us. And we really are grateful for everyone who has passed us on to others and for our growing audience. And it really is growing. So
indeed,
I think we'll catch up with Joe Rogan in another 50 or 60 years. So we'll be right there.
Only that many? That's not bad.
That's
way better than I thought.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
Right.
Look at us go.
I'll be a bag of bones here, but that's okay.
Well, that's okay.
I'll take over. Don't worry.
Okay, good. Thanks, Gannon. Appreciate it.
That's right. We need to bring some youth into the show.
Pass it on to the younger generation.
That's right. Enjoy that train wreck, kids. But I guess that'll do it for this one. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Happy Thanksgiving to those celebrating this week in the U.S. or abroad if you're doing that. Have a great couple of weeks until we talk to you again, and have a great rest of your day or night.
See ya.